I start straight down the mat tonight because I have got so much to do. So I designed the bracelet this week, and I was playing with super duos, and as happens, I had much more ideas with super duos, so I kind of like want to test them. So I thought we're gonna start straight down the mat and we're gonna get going. So the patterns I had in mind is, you know, I can't even remember what beads it was. You probably remember better than I do. But we're trying to do it with squares before, and I thought perhaps with super duos, because the way how they fit together, we could have a seed bead in between and have four of them sit in like sort of a little corner, and then we could create like little windows. As well, I had another idea where we put either a pearl or something in between and have more of like a diamond shape going, or crystal. I don't know yet, but I have been playing with this. So let's get started. So I'm going to pop these to the side. I'm going to grab some thread and we're going to get started. I am going to use a darker purple thread tonight. How are you? Let me know in the comments. What have you been up to? What you've been beading? What you've been making? And I will go and grab and have a look, because I think I did have a couple of pictures sent to me, which I will show you right at the end. Say hello. Right, okay, so I'm just threading my needle and I'm going to bring this down. And I'm going to try with size 11 seed beads first, and then perhaps if they're too big, then we're going to go down to size 15. So I'm going to sew four of these together. And I kind of like, I'm aware that we're going to see quite a bit of the thread path here. But we see how it goes. And then let me just pop this window there. There we go. And then we can get started. Right, so I just can see you on YouTube as well. There we go. Right, okay, so I'm going to pick up four super duos and I'm going to sew them together. I'm going to take this. Good evening, Lucy. Nice to see you here. I'm going to go through all four of them one more time. And then, actually, I could knot my tail end and my working end together, because I don't think I need to come in the inner circle anymore, but perhaps a better knot on the first one. Maybe I just go through a couple more to be away from my tail. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to force a size 11 seed bead in between there as well. I didn't want to pick up the seed beads at the start because I want them to sit quite close together. And I just zoom in a little bit more. So now I'm going to add a size 15, a size 11, sorry. I'm just sort of looking at the size 11. I'm thinking, do I need to go down to size 15 at the same time to fit into those gaps, and then just see what happens. And then one more, and then I'm going to turn. So there's no other way to turn, but I'm just going to have to come back on the same super duo I'm coming out of and just come through the other hole. Doesn't matter where our tail R is. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up 3 super duos. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to come through from the other side of the very same super duo. Oh, good evening, Harley's Wild Jewellery. Nice to see you. Helen Campbell, good evening as well. She's from Delaware, USA. My first live. Oh, bless you. What time is it? You know, I'm going to ask that. What time is it in Delaware at the moment? I am so rubbish with geography and time zones. So I'm going to go around and add those size 11s in again. Now, what I think what we could try is, instead of the size 11, we could try micro crystals to sparkle it up a little bit. I'm just going to try it with size 11s first. There we go. And the last one. And then I'm going to weave my thread around. So I want to come out of this, the top of this super jewelry. So I'm going to come through the next seed bead and super duo. It might not look anything like how I imagined it, but hopefully it will work out. And then just pulling it tight, I'm going to turn around in this super duo and repeat this over and over again. So I'm going to pick up 3 super duo, 1, 2, 3, come through this one again, and then I'm going to add the missing seed beads in. Kind of like you need to keep a tight tension here. There it is. Trying to find a hole on there. Pulling it tight. What did I got caught on? You don't want a rogue thread bar, thank you. Good evening, Lorraine, nice to see you here. Sorry, a bit late, just started. But I wanted to start straight down on the mat because I had this idea in my head for the last few days, and I have designed a new bracelet with super duos and check bar beads. And as I was playing with the super duos, you know how ideas come. I was like, oh, I could do this and I could do that and I could do 10 other things, but time's an essence. So again, I'm gonna go around. So I want to come out of that end. So I'm gonna come through that seed bead and the next super duo. So I was so eager for tonight to start. I was sitting here like 10-2, ready to start. I'm gonna turn my thread path around and I'm gonna go this one and I'm gonna go through that one as well, because 2 of those gonna be there. So now I only need to pick up 2 super duos, come through again. And I'm going to be adding my seed beads in one more time. And I think, like at the end, when we do a sort of a length, this probably would work more for a bracelet than a necklace, because it's going to be nice and straight. But I just really like sort of the geometric designs. We can have these multi-hole beads. Helen is saying is 3:05 where she is. She's 5 hours behind us. Now I need to weave my thread, so I'm coming out of this super duo at the top, or I could come out of that one as well. Doesn't really matter at the moment because it's a total square. Where we're gonna, I think microcrystals perhaps would have really sparkled it up. So that's something to try as well. I'm gonna come up to this. So I'm just weaving my thread around and turn around in that super duo once more, and then I'm picking up 3 once more. I think it's kind of cute how they're sitting together. What do you think? Good evening, Sharon, Michelle, good evening, and the Lady Layer, good evening. Charleston WV here, so happy to catch a live. Laura, good evening. Connecticut, nice to see you here as well. So I'm going to pick up another 3 again, and then I think we could just keep on going, but actually to the sides we don't just have to add seed beads. So when we come down on the sides later, we could add maybe a larger bead in there. And actually if we didn't make it double the width, we could just add 1, and then it would be like little sort of pluses. That would look good as well. But I started double, so I'm going to continue with the double. But we could have done this singular as well. We didn't have to do it double. I just love how these beads fit together, and we could do different colors as well. So you could have different colors of super duos for one cross and a different color super duo for another one. So now I need to weave my thread around because I need to come out of this one right here, or we could have a wider bracelet as well. That would look good. So I'm just going to follow my thread path around, kind of working in circles again. Just running around in circles here. Good evening, David. Interesting. I love the super duos as well. He's saying I really do love them. Super duos is one of the first shapes what came out, and like jewel beads. So they've been around quite a long time, and there was a period that a few years ago where everybody was doing everything with super duos, like whatever new pattern was coming on, it's included super duos. And then all the other shapes came out, and kind of they're still being used a lot, but a little bit forgotten about, I feel, because I always get excited as well, or maybe it's just me, but I always get excited with new shapes of beads and as they come out, so you kind of start playing with those ones. So sometimes it's so nice to circle back to something and work with those. I think this one looks quite lovely. I'm not sure if I would want it double all the way along, or if a singular one would have looked better. We could certainly try it. So I'm going around, and I'm gonna come out, turn around in that one, and start my next row. I think it's looking good so far. So I'm picking up another 3. Laura is saying, love this design. It can go in many different directions. Yeah, absolutely. This one again would look really good if it was a whole book cover or something like that, where you can like sort of just cover something, or a coaster would look really nice in this design as well. We could do like a square coaster and then immerse it into resin. That would look really good. And I've still got so much resin stuff, and I haven't had the resin stuff out for a year now, or maybe a couple of years. I'm not even sure. The years go so fast at the moment that it would be nice to do something more home decory as well with this. So there's loads of different things we could do, but I just love how they fit together. So I'm turning my thread around, gonna come through that one as well, picking up another 2. I'm gonna do maybe another 2 rows, so then we can decide what we want to add to the side. And then we could keep on going for a whole bracelet. Quite sort of a watch strap look in a way, isn't it? I was thinking of a cover for a candle. Yes, you could, but you have to be careful with candles sometimes, and smaller beads, or larger beads as well, I guess, because if the candle burns really hot right to the bottom, then it can crack the beads as they kind of come in contact with the heat from the candle. So if it's like a tea light, probably it would work very well. And then you can have some electric tea lights as well now. They don't have to be candle operated, they can be battery operated. So that would look good. You could make it for loads of things. We could put it around. We could have it as on a napkin holder, but you could, just put it if you're doing home decor, like any design where you need to have a strip of something to go around something would work. So I'm just going to add another couple of rows, seed bead, and then see how we go. Richard is saying the double looks nice. I think the more I do it, the more I like it as well. It's just so geometric. I think for me, like I do like random stuff as well, but something for me like geometric is just geometric and symmetric stuff. It's just so pleasing to look for my eye. I just really like it. So anything like circle designs as well, I really love. Square designs, any designs, but if it's like geometric, I think it just extra, like when it works like that, it's just really nice. So I'm just going to go around to get to that super jewel on the side. I think size 15s perhaps wouldn't work because they would be a little bit too small, and not in terms of like the size of the bead, because I think it would fit in there, but I think what would happen is as we have to go through quite a few times, it would fill up with thread and it would stop us kind of like pulling through. So I'm picking up 2 and then adding the seed beads in. I am pleased with this. This is definitely, I'm gonna work more with this and come up with something with else. I'll show you once again the bracelet I came up with this week when I was playing with the super duos. Let me just get to the end of this row. So in that one I used super duos and check beams. Right, so I'm just there, ready to add the next row. So the one I did this week is this one, which again I really love. And what I loved about this bracelet, as I put it together, there is no seed bead, it's only microcrystals, and it's really, I think, sparkling the bracelet up, but very sort of in a simple way because there is nothing else. Curtain tiebacks, Victoria is saying, absolutely. Claire, good evening. Could make a centerpiece, a triangle, and either side for a necklace. Absolutely. I think, yeah, we could work in a triangle as well, because we could add more rows, like sort of connecting from here. That would look really good, but I think we need to work out what we're going to add in between, and I suspect it's going to have to be something like sort of 5 or 6 mil in between those. So I'm going to add maybe 1 or 2 more, so we got a couple of inches, because sometimes you just have to have a little more to work with to be able to really see the pattern, how it comes together. So I'm just going to go. And so simple, because we're just going around in circles. But by not adding the seed beads in straight away and sewing the super jewels together, I think that's what's keeping them really nice and tight. But either adding the seed bead on the top in between afterwards, it kind of covers up the thread path anyway, so we would not be able to see it. But it just gives the extra sort of tightness on there. I like it. I really like it. Claire is saying I shouldn't be here. Every time I come on Facebook or watch a video, I add another project to my list. Oh bless. I got so many projects. I always joke about this. I got many years to go to retirement, but I already have the first 10 years of retirement sorted with all the projects I want to do. Definitely. But that's the beauty of it, like to get inspired and look things. And this is simple. It's only just size 11s and super duos, and most of us will have a few super duos banging around in the cupboard, and size 11 seed beads as well. So you could have a go. Oh, Ruth is saying, Claire, I reckon I have enough to get me through a few 100 years. Oh, bless you. Ruth is saying, definitely. But I really enjoy it. Like for me, sitting down and just sort of playing with the beads and doing designs, really, I think very therapeutic and very calming, and I really do like it. Right, okay, shall we add one more row? And I think that's kind of enough. I'm gonna grab a 5mm crystal bead, because I think it kind of just leads itself to add a crystal bead in there. And I'm gonna grab a pearl as well, maybe 6mm pearl. We see. Michelle is saying I love it. Right, okay, so 5mm crystal beads. I didn't have any 6mm last week, so I bought a few more 6mm home, and now I'm looking for 5mm amongst all of these. I really need to, I think this is 5mm. Let's have a look. That's 5mm. And let's have a look for a 6mm. This is definitely 6mm. I think we might be able to get away with a 6mm in there. I don't know how well it's gonna sit, but I've got a couple of ideas what we can do on the top there. So, is there a better color? 5mm. Let's not go with silver. I need to sort out. I need to get into my drawers and sort out my drawers, because I have got I have got beads mixed up now. But every single time I sit down and I start to sort out my drawers, I get like distracted by pretty beads and I start doing something. And then like very quickly I have to admit, just sort of shove it back in the drawer, and so I can start playing again. Did I stop? That's 6mm. I think I have to try it with that silver. This is 6mm as well. So I need to sort these crystals out. Does anybody want to come over and sort my crystals out? That's 5mm. Maybe that's a little bit better color than the silver to go with it, because sometimes if you put a totally wrong color with your design, even if it's just you trying it for a size, it can be a little bit off-putting. So it's better to have something which is kind of match. Love this, looks so good. Lucy's saying I love it too. So let's have a look. I'm just going to try the 5mm first. So I'm going to weave my thread around where I am. I'm coming out of that super duo. I want to kind of go down on the side. So I'm just going to cross over in this seed bead at the end. I'm not going to be facing the right way, am I? Never mind, we're going to cheat. We have to find a better thread path later on. So we're going to have a wonky seed bead here, but never mind. I just wanted to get to the side. So if I just pick up the 5mm and go through the next one on the side and pop that in there. I mean, that sits okay-ish. Pick up another 5mm. Yeah, maybe the 6mm would be too big. Let me just move this up a bit so you can see it. But to be honest, like, I think it's a bit bulky. It's sitting a bit bulky on the side. So I'm not sure that if you need something a little bit flatter. Can you see like it's thicker than the super duos? And when we would be wearing it, I think it's a bit too bulky. What do you think? Let me just grab the 6mm and pop that in there as well, but I think the 6mm will be definitely too big. But I'm not, maybe, but if I introduced a couple of pearls, a couple of 3mm pearls, we could try that as well. We could always go back and take this out. So this is the 6mm is too big. I can see it's pushing apart the side. So 6mm is definitely too big. 5mm would be the right size, but I don't actually like it there. Do you have a 4mm? I think 4mm will be too small. I'll grab a 4mm. Let me just take the 6mm off, because that's definitely not going to work. So I'm just very quickly stitching back, and I grab a 4mm. 4mm will be too small, but no, we can't put a seed bead on either side, because then that's gonna hang out. But let me just grab the 4mm tray. I'll grab something from this. So something purplish. Let's look for something purplish. I've got these, they will work. Right, okay, so 4mm. So 4mm, let's get the 6mm out of the way, because you're not going to use them. If I pick up a 4mm and pop down there, so I don't think the 4mm actually, all right, no, it's pulling it together. Unless if I keep a very loose tension there on the sides when I add this. but it definitely looks better in size. I think the 5mm is, it's just a bit too cumbersome. That's I guess maybe the word is, so maybe the 4mm. So let me go back and take off the 5mm completely. Lauren is saying too bulky. And other things, what we could add another something else to hole. So these are, now I'm just gonna put the 5mm on the side as well and use the 4mm instead and see what happens. I think you do need a little bit of sparkles if this is gonna be a bracelet, and especially if it was, I think if it was just a single row, not a double row, you definitely need something else on the side. Right, I went all the way down, definitely pulling them together. So if I pull this, can you see it's curving? But then I guess if you go to the other side, you would pull that side as well. So it's if I keep a loose tension, it's all right. But I still don't think I still don't think like that's better. But I still don't think it's kind of like perfect. So I'm gonna have to look something for the side as well. And if you just had the one row, and we'd have to add it to the other side as well. I mean, we could always just add 3 seed beads. Let me just, I'm gonna go back and take these out because I'm not entirely happy with it. So what happened if you just added 3 seed beads? And especially if you added microcrystals. So if I just add 3 seed beads, would that be then, or a couple of side beads? Now, I don't like the 3 seed beads either because it's creating a gap. Maybe a 15 4mm crystal 15. I did think about that just a second ago, but 2 15s will make another 3mm. So overall, it will be a 7. We will be trying to fit in a 7mm construction into a 5mm gap. So we're gonna have to come to maybe a 15 and a 3mm, and the 15 would work. Just take those seed beads off. I got some pearls here, some 3mm pearls. So let's try if we put a couple of 3mm pearls in there, what's that look like? Because the 3mm pearls, they're never really kind of 3mm. Oh, I think I went through. I need to go through that. 1, 2, and then go through. Again, I think it's going to be too big. I can sort of feel it already. And then it's well, not too bad because then they just sit on a little bit of an angle. So not too bad. 1, 2, going through the next. But again, I'm not I'm not the biggest fan. So I'm gonna stop. How about seed beads and microcrystals? So microcrystal is about 2mm. But the microcrystal is just a tiny bit bigger. But then if you could have added microcrystals in there as well, I think, what else have we got we could add in there? The one thing I can think of to finish it off is to do this, and I'll show you just what I mean. So if I pick up, just take these pearls off. If I pick up, and we could do this as we go along. So if I pick up a super duo and I pick up 2 seed beads and I take these down, and then I come back through the free hole of that super duo I just added, and then go into the next one and pull this up nice and tight. That will kind of finish our pattern there, but we still need to come back and add the missing seed beads in there. I think I like that the best so far, because it is staying with its own kind, if that makes sense. So 1 super duo, 2 seed beads. But you're saying first time catching Creation Station live, welcome to our Creation Station. And good afternoon, Kitti and Al from New York, catching a live from Doctor's Waiting. Oh, bless you. I hope nothing serious. I hope it's just a catch up. We're sending you big hugs and kisses. Size 15 pearl and size 15. Yeah, we could try that as well. Right, let me just add this, because I think if we did this all the way down, then what we could do is to turn 2 seed beads, but then we need to come down, seed bead, up. Ah, I see. So I'm going to pick up another super duo, 2 seed beads. So if we just had a single row, then we could be turning into kind of like a double squares in between. Definitely scope to play with this pattern a lot, and I think hematite as well. We have 5 mil. I have to have a look like what we can see. So if I go all the way down and I added them on the side as well, then I would need to turn back. So I'm just going to turn back one here. I'm going to pick up a seed bead and come back through the same hole. So just turning my direction. Then I'm going to add the missing seed beads in. Or maybe if I didn't add the seed beads on first, I just added the super duos, and then I come back, or didn't have to have these side seed beads, to be honest. And then we could, I think we need to add these missing seed beads in. So definitely a lot to play with. Beautiful little pattern. Maybe introduce a gem duo or something else in there as well, we could, which would then give like they're a little bit bigger, so the sides would touch. Loads of different options we have there. Could you maybe put microcrystals on the outside of super duos? Yeah, absolutely. Microcrystals and size 11s are pretty much similar in size. They are a tiny bit bigger because they're more of a soccer ball shape rather than rounds. So they would work, but we could add the microcrystals in the middle as well. So we could do a pattern perhaps where we have these middle ones are microcrystals as well. So definitely could work. So if it works with size 11, 9 times out of the 10 it will work with microcrystals as well. So it is a food for thought. What about having those seed beads pointing in the mirror, the inside? So one other thing we could do like a picot edge of seed beads. Let me just get down at the bottom. So I'm just going to come through these. I'm just going to add, and we would have to do this to both sides. And coming back through. Sometimes less is more in a way, and I do love experimenting with just a couple of materials, or max 3. Sometimes I like to use loads of different ones. I think I got a knot on my thread. My thread is being naughty tonight. My thread was naughty this afternoon as well, when we were in the bead club. naughty thread day by the sound of it. Right, so I am all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to add the last seed beads in so that it's kind of mirrored as well. I'm just going to pick up a seed bead and then I'm just going to turn back. So I want to turn back and I'm going to go into that very first seed bead. So if I wanted to do like a picot edge, so something sticking out, and I could actually add a 15 in here, but I haven't introduced 15, so I'm just going to use the 11s for now. Well, maybe I could, because then like in between I could use an 11 as well. Hold on, we got a rogue thread here. There we go. So I'm going to come through this first seed bead on the top, and then I could either, I'm just going to pick up a size 11 and go through the next one. So it's going to give us like an edge like that, and then I'm going to pick up another 2 seed beads and get to the next one. 2 might not be enough, I might need 3. There we go. Yeah, I think 2 is pulling it together. But if I add 3, then 3 is too much. So perhaps 3 size 15s, and then that could be 15 as well. We might have to go down to size 15, but if we use microcrystals, then we could use microcrystals and 15s, I guess. Let me just pick up one more and see how is it gonna look. I don't know what's going on with this thread. Come back through. Come back through. Have I stitched through the thread? Have I stitched through the thread? I think I have. So I have to take the needle off. Kristen's saying she was thinking picot as well, especially if you make it like a single, sort of not as wide as a bracelet. It's so nice to have something, a picot edge. Right, re-threading needle. And then come on through quick. There we go. So I want an extra seed bead. So 3 seed beads would look like this. 2 wasn't quite enough, but I think 3 is going to be too much, but might just give us like a little bit of a curve. Then I'm going to pick up my extra, go to the next, pick up another 3, go to the next, pick up a single one. I'm not sure. I think I have to work on this edge. I do like putting in that sort of side, but I think we could do that as we go along, so we don't have to go up and down on the end. It's buckling, so it's too many seed beads. If I turn it sideways, can you see it's buckling? So it's not gonna work nicely. So I have to. I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna have to think about this. I really like that design. I think definitely, even if you just have it like that, even if you just have one row, and something on the side, I think it would look really good. So I'm gonna have a little play with this week, because I really want to try out another pattern which I had in my head. I'm happy with the squares. It looks really pleasing, but we do need to kind of do something, maybe that much. I think that would look really good on a bracelet, and I will try it with the microcrystals with themselves, and then we see how we go on the sides. Maybe all we need to do is just to turn around and not have any seed beads in here at all. Maybe just, we're gonna see the thread on the side of the Super Duo, but if you use the same color as the Super Duo, it's not really gonna show up that much. So maybe we just need to turn around on the side, and without having any seed beads there at all, just have sort of a nice clear edge. That might look really good as well. So I'm gonna pop this to the side, and I'm gonna have a play with this week and let you know what I will come up with. But the other design I want to try is kind of like so I did like herringbone design with with super jewels before, but one, and I might even have done something similar to this, because this is the thing. Sometimes, like when you do and try out so many different things, like you kind of forget what you designed and what you did before and what you didn't do. So what I really want to do is I need a few more. I'm going to use the 3mm pearls. I think they will be good. So it's going to go like this. I'm going to pick up a super duo, a 3mm pearl, and a super duo. Then actually I want those super duos at the bottom joined. So let's start with that. I'm gonna, obviously if I make this into a bracelet, I'm just gonna come back on this because I'm gonna join 2 super duos together. I'm just gonna sew the 2 super duos together so I got a nice start. So I'm just gonna go through a few times of this, the 2 holes, so kind of they just stick together at the bottom. If I was doing this as a bracelet, obviously I would start with the clasp, so it wouldn't be a problem to have a tight finish at the bottom. So I got the 2 super duos. Imagine that's our clasp. I'm gonna come up through the other hole. Now I'm gonna pick up the 3mm pearl. Oh, come on, rolling around on my mat. And I'm going to go into this super duo. So I'm going to add that in there. And what I want to do is to have like the reverse of this on the other side. So I'm not going to pick up any seed bead. I'm just going to pick up a super duo. I'm going to go through the pearl. Then pick up another super duo. Take this down. Come through the free hole just there and then go through that one which we just added, and I'm going to pull this tight and see sort of it's going to form a little unit just like that. So now what we can, I'm going to pick up 2 more. I would probably add a seed bead in between because it's going to be a big thread gap otherwise. So 1 seed bead, 2 super duos, another seed bead, and then I'm going to come through these 2 again, pull this up nice and tight. That actually looks quite nice. And then I'm going to come through the seed bead and the super duo, both of the super duos. I'm going to turn around in this second super duo and pick up a pearl. Just like that. So I do think I don't really want to have a thread path here, because when you put it down you will have a thread path on one side but you're not going to have a thread path on the other side. Pardon me, I'm sneezing. So if I picked up a seed bead, just need a few more seed beads. So if I picked up a seed bead and then a super duo, then going through the pearl, and then actually we would have a seed bead on the side there, which then we could anchor something else on later on. So I'm going to pick up, no, because then again we're not going to have a seed bead on this side. So unless if from that pearl I go into this super duo here, then pick up a seed bead and another super duo and go back through the pearl to kind of complete like a figure of 8 there, so we can have the seed bead on the side as well. Then I'm going to come through the super duo and sew the ends together, and I'm ready to add the next unit. What do we think of this? I think again it looks pretty. Maybe a 4mm pearl would be better, but then the 3mm does fit quite nicely, but the 4mm might push it apart, it opens it up a little bit more. So seed bead, 2 super duos, seed bead, coming through here again. I'm gonna go up to the next unit. We could actually do this in a way We could do multi-row over this as well. So we could have had another pearl here and another unit next door. So it could have been 2 rows as well. Lauren is saying nice. I like it too. I just got so many ideas. So sort of when you start down, when you sit down and start to play with one pattern, you just get so many ideas that you could do, because one thing leads to another. So seed bead super duo, coming back to the pearl and the super duo, another seed bead super duo, coming back to the pearl and going into the new super duo to turn around. And then just sewing those 2 together at the end. Now I'm going to add a couple more units, and then I'm going to show you like what we could do to sort of tidy up the edge and add extra seed beads in there. I think that would look really good. So seed bead, 2 super duos, seed bead, coming through from the other side, then coming through. They're like little butterflies. They look like little butterflies. And then coming up through the other hole, picking up a pearl, adding the pearl in, and then it's seed bead super duo, going to the pearl, and then I'm going to come through the super duo itself as well, picking up another seed bead super duo, into the pearl, and then into the new super duo. Right, I'm missing the seed beads there. I'm gonna finish just this here and see what we can put on that side. So if I just wanted to turn around, and I think it will be 3 seed beads this time. So I'm gonna pick up 2 for the first one and go, I'm just gonna go through that seed bead. Then I'm gonna pick up 3. 1, 2, 3, go to the seed bead. 1, 2, 3, go to the next seed bead, one, and these could be different colors, totally different colors, so they could stand out, or we could keep these same colors, or we could go down and add size 15, so it kinda adds like a framing to the whole thing, which I think looks really cool. I'm just going to pick up 2 here and cross over, because I'm missing the seed bead there. There's nothing to anchor into in that very first unit. It does. Ooh, look, so it's slightly bending. It's slightly bending. It sort of leads itself to bending. Can you see that? So if I wanted to, I could then add 2 seed beads in between here, and then it would make a lovely necklace as well, because it would have that nice curve. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 3s in here and see, and I think it will straighten out. Just adding 2 for the very first one, because I'm coming out of the hole of the super duo, and then I'm going to pick up 3s and see if it's going to be buckling or it's going to straighten nicely out. I think it will. I'm just picking up 3 seed beads, going through the next one, another 3 seed beads, going to the next one, another 3. I think this would be a nice little pattern, and we could make it double width, but we'd have to work it out how how would be our thread path would be going, and what would we need to pick up when. But I think this would be a pretty little pattern as well, either single row or multiple rows. There we go. So what do we think? maybe going down to some, I suggest to use microcrystals for when we're picking up our super jewels in our pattern, and then use size 15s because it would give a bit more of the more of a delicate edging. We still got time, so we could try it out. I'm gonna grab some microcrystals and I'm gonna make another 3 units and then use size 15s instead of the size 11s because it just sort of like makes it a bit more delicate. Lauren is saying she likes the idea of the necklace. So microcrystals, I actually had some purpley ones out. I think they will do color wise. Yep. So I'm gonna cut this off. Actually, I got enough thread here to make a little pattern again. So I'm gonna start right at the beginning, but this time I'm gonna pop to the 11s to the side. I'm not gonna use the 11s. I'm gonna use microcrystals where I used the 11s when I was building the pattern, and then we're gonna connect size 15s in between the microcrystals. I think that will be a quite nice pattern. So starting with picking up 2 super jewels. So this would be the clasp, and then we would be attaching these to the clasp, but this time I'm just sewing them together. I'm gonna go through a couple of times so I have a nice sort of solid base there. Pull it tight. Need a few more pearlies as well with the strand, and then I'm gonna come through the other hole. So it doesn't matter that we're jumping from one hole to another hole, because if you're gonna add those size 15s on, then they will cover up that little thread path we may have showing. Just picking up a pearl and just going to the other side. I'm gonna move some of these over to this side. I always do this, like I add the beads on completely on the other side, and then I'm sort of trying to reach over. So I'm gonna pick up a microcrystal, and then I'm gonna pick up a super duo, come back through the pearl. Oh, that looks nice. Come back through the super duo, pick up another microcrystal and another super duo, go back to the pearl, and then up into the new super duo just added. Then I'm gonna turn my direction, come back through the hole, and come back and sew these 2 together. 1, 2. And the next one I'm gonna pick up is microcrystal, 2 super duos, microcrystal, come through those again, pull this up nice and tight. Then I'm gonna weave my thread around so I can turn round in the super duo, pick up a pearl. Christine says agree. Nice to see these lives, to see what works and what doesn't in real time. Gives me license to try, repat and try again. Like that was from Patricia. Sometimes it goes like this. I try a pattern out, then I say, yeah, it's okay, but how about this? And I try something else, and it's like, no, I don't like that, so how about that? And I try something else, and then it's like, okay, well, I still don't like it, how about this? And I try something else, and I try 5 different things, and then I go back to the original one. So sometimes, like, your best idea is the first one, but sometimes it's like you try something and they think, oh yeah, it looks okay, but how about this? And then the second version looks better. And then, okay, I like this better, but perhaps this part I don't like. So how if I introduce a different bead? And the third version looks even better. And then you're still ending up doing 5 versions, but then the 5th one is going to be like really close to, or even perfect. perfect fit for what you need to do. So for me, I just love sitting there and I love trying out, and I'm just like, look at those microcrystals, they look so pretty in there. I just love playing with the beads and just love trying them out and do all sorts of different patterns. And it's like, I always say this, for me doing this is like when my son sits down and plays with the Lego and just sort of makes up puts the blocks together and just makes up, like, you know, whatever he fancies making up. And beading is the same for me, just sort of sitting there and playing with all the beads. So 1 microcrystal, 2 super geos, 1 microcrystal. No, no, what am I doing? 1 microcrystal, 1 super geo. Coming back through the pearl. That would look lovely as a band around the bauble. Tracy's saying absolutely. So any of bracelet designs really you can turn into bauble designs as well. And often they do kind of, you start out that way. Because we're doing the 12 months of the Christmas all year round, so we're going to do 12 baubles this year with Totally, and the bauble workshop is on the 28th, I believe. Check it out on the website. I might be talking rubbish, I never know my dates, but 28, and it is 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, so it's kind of like perfect time. But anything you could use what you made into jewellery into a bauble. However, what I like to do is to design bauble coverings, like, unless if you're going to sew the cover on to a specific bauble, I like to have bauble coverings where I can take it off of one bauble and put it on another bauble, because one year we might have a pink tree, next year we might have a silver tree, next year we might have a gold tree, and so on. I got so many baubles out there, but you know, you can then swap and change your, because you put the work in it, so they become quite precious, and you can swap and change them if you don't sew the bottom on. So therefore, the coverings kind of need to be a little bit flexible. And when you do something sort of going down or going around a bauble like this, which there is no give and take in the pattern. So if I was doing this for a bauble, I would probably have the sort of the units, but in between we would have to do some beads which like draping down, so they're not so they can expand and then contract down. So if one bauble is a little bit smaller, and because baubles are made in all sorts of different factories, one of them is going to be 55 mil, the next factory gonna make baubles to 58 mil, the next factory gonna make baubles to 56 mil, and so on. So hard to get up 2 a.m. to be live. So the bauble workshop is 6 p.m. UK time, so I'm not sure what time are you. Where are you, Christine? Let me know, because if you're in America, then even if you're on the East Coast, then it would be 1 p.m. and if you are in the West Coast, then it would be like 10 a.m. for you when we do this. Right, I'm gonna pick up the size 15s and I'm gonna go in between. So I'm just gonna pick up a couple, because I'm copying out the whole of the super duo, so I just need to get to that first. I think I'm gonna pick up 3 and take it down and see, but I think we're gonna need 4. Yeah, I think we're gonna need 4. There's a gap, just enough gap for 1 more. So I think instead of 3, we're gonna need 4. 3 11s we put, so I think 4 size 15s perhaps gonna fit just as nicely. Maybe we go back to 11s after you tried, but I think I kind of already like the look of the 15s in there. It's like a little bit more dainty. So, and then like I might go and try it with something different. I might add a bugle bead in there. Could try it with a bugle bead on the side, or hex cuts, or anything else, or more microcrystals. but kind of like the look of those 15s. I'm watching live right now. So what time is right now where you are? Let me know so we can calculate this time zones are real always baffle me. I think that's gonna look good, and I'm gonna go to the other side. Let's pick a couple so we don't. I have to go one by one because the holes don't sort of line up in between the two. It is noon now, so yes, so you're 8 hours behind. So when we have the bauble workshop, that is 6 p.m. UK time, so 2 hours earlier than now because it's 8 p.m. now, so it would be 10 a.m. your time. When we like the Bead Club on Thursday night, we have got a 7 p.m. session, which would be 11 a.m. your time as well, so you could join in that as well. And that's on Thursday nights. I like the 15s. What do we think, ladies? Let me know. And gentlemen, let me know in the comments. I think definitely a scope there to put something together with these ones, or sort of maybe tweak it a little bit more. And do like a bracelet or a set, bracelet and necklace with it we could do. But then we'd have to do earrings as well, of course. And to complete our set, I'm just gonna get to the end. Perfect, Christine. So the bauble workshop, that's on Totally Beads website in the Christmas shop. And the Bead Club is a separate website, which is beadclub.online. You can check out and you can join for a week for free and just come in and have a look what we're doing. At the moment, we're making a ring. I got the ring right here in front of me because we've been doing it today. So we're doing rings at the moment. That's what we're doing tomorrow in the Bead Club. So you could come in and have a look. Right, okay, so I think if I put them side by side, I definitely prefer, let me know which one, but Lucy just popped the link in there for the Bead Club. I definitely prefer the 15s compared to the 11s, but still for my eyes, it's sort of a little bit wiggly. It's a little bit still not quite straight line, so I would have to work it. I would have to perhaps work a better thread path to have them straight, or maybe run through them again. Not sure. I have to have a little bit of a think about that one. If it was size 11 instead of the microcrystal, perhaps that just would given us that little bit of extra room there, because they're slightly a different shape. I put on this, I've got an 11 here, so if I put the 11 on the top of the microcrystal, can you see it's just a tiny bit sort of shorter? So maybe that would work out. So we'll have to have a little go. Tracy says size 15. Lucy says I like the size 15s the best. Yeah, I think because it looks more daintier. It looks quite nice with it, but I think I'm going to tweak it a little bit. So then we had to go at this one. I really like this. But I think I know what I'm going to do on the side. We're just not going to have seed beads on the side. I have a little play with this week, and perhaps no, but that wouldn't work. So we would have that much, and we could have a different color for the crosses inside and a different color on the outside as well. I think that would look really good as well. Maybe have a darker color and a lighter color, and then we could sort of mix the seed beads as well. That would look really good as well. And I'm going to work out colorways for this. This is what I played around with this week, and probably it's going to be live very soon on Totally as well. So that's it for me tonight. I'm going to go and feed my little papa, although she's asleep tonight. She just didn't actually want to come out at all. She's asleep. She she stolen a pillow earlier this week and taken it into her crate. So now she's folded up she's like a mat on above her crate. She's folded up the mat in half and she's stolen a pillow and pulled it in for the other side. Bless her. And she just sort of laying across and asleep. I'm gonna go and feed her dinner. So everybody have a beautiful week. I'm gonna have a good old play with this one because I think there's definitely mileage in this one. I like it. I don't like the 11s. I like the 15s. We could try this with gem doers as well, because gem doers are a little bit bigger, so they would be more sort of substantial in the middle. So I might have a little play with gem doers, this design with gem doers and maybe larger pearls, or even putting a crystal like a bike one in the middle. I have a little go with that one. So everybody have a beautiful week, and I will be on totally 10 a.m. next week UK time, and 7 p.m. UK time back here next week. So have a beautiful week, and I see you. I forgot to show you a picture, but I'll show you next week. I promise. I will start next week. Send me any pictures what you've been making, and I will start next week with showing off the pictures. Thank you so much for turning up. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do love these. Are my favorite sessions because we can just sit down and just sort of play over the whole week. And I really appreciate you, every single one of you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye, 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 bye.